He's a seasoned marketing professional who's had two careers, one in television and one in software, and has a strong passion for helping people communicate more effectively. I'm delighted to welcome Ethan Beute of BombBomb on Small Talk. Ethan Beute of BombBomb, welcome to Small Talk.
Thank you. Thanks so much for the invite. I really appreciate it.
I'm going to be very, very interested in hearing with regards to this conversation, Ethan, because many people these days, both on LinkedIn, on various social channels, but specifically I'm seeing a lot on LinkedIn, and certainly more on other social channels, this whole thing about video. And I wanted to talk to you, Ethan, about two specific things around video, and that is helping our audience build relationships on video or using video. How do we build relationships using video? That's number one. But I also want you would love for you to talk about how we can kind of, rehumanize our digital communications, moving away from texting and typical email communications. How do we rehumanize that element through video? And you're representing a very, very, very popular video software organization, folks. It's called BombBomb. Certainly, our organization is an affiliate and an official Canadian partner with this organization. Please go to ilovemybombbomb.com. If you haven't heard of it, please go there. But Ethan, let's start with the conversation of how do you use video to build relationships? Because people who are watching this show, they're everything from financial advisors, real estate, mortgage, solopreneurs, people working at very large organizations. Talk to us about that.
Sure. I think where a lot of people get hung up with video is they think that if you're in a large organization, you think it belongs over at the marketing department. If you're, an independent kind of operator like a real estate agent or a solopreneur where, you might be affiliated with an organization, but you're kind of doing your own thing too. You might think, okay, I need to hire someone for that because I need a video for my homepage. And, I think where anyone's getting hung up around marketing around video is that they think about it in the context almost exclusively of marketing, where I need to script a video, I need to produce it, someone needs to shoot it, light it, edit it, polish it up, and I need to put my very, very best face forward. And that's fine if you're doing it. I assume that you continue to do it because you're getting value from it. We do that as an organization, and I did it for years. I worked at local television stations for 12 years, and we spent a lot of time and a lot of money making very highly produced videos. But the line that we really want to draw so that people can see the difference between what we call marketing through video and relationships through video is that marketing through video can build that kind of awareness, and it provides a sense of authority. And so when people see your Small Talk episodes, they think, all right, this is a guy who's got it going on. He knows how to use video. He's bringing on interesting guests. This is somewhere in between, I would say, marketing through video and relationships through video, but it tends to the marketing through video side. The interesting thing about relationships through video is that literally anyone can and should participate. If you're working in a professional capacity, you should be thinking about relationships through video. And the neat thing about it is that it lowers all the bars that prevent you from saying video is for me. And all of your excuses of I'm not a video person go away when you start thinking about the relationship through video piece, where you and I have done this back and forth personally many times before we met and after we met in person, is when I record a simple video and I just say, hey, Javed, thank you for reaching out on LinkedIn. Really appreciate it, et cetera, right? I don't need a script. I don't need lights. I'm standing in my office under fluorescent lights with my webcam. I do work at a standing desk, so it's kind of got a different angle to it than like straight on. But there's no production, there's no script, there's no lights, and it's easy to do because it's like leaving a voicemail, right? Except it's all of you, and because it's an email, you can track it and know when you leave 15 voicemails in an afternoon, do you have any idea if or when those voicemails are listened to? Of course not. So this ability to send videos, and I'll try not to get too far ahead here, this ability to send videos that are intended for one person or 3 people or your team of 8 people or let's say I'm a real estate agent, to the husband, wife, and mortgage loan officer who's in, and you just send a video to all those people to get them up to speed on something. This is about communicating more clearly, building rapport, connecting more effectively. That's kind of the relationship component. And the natural outcome of that combination is that you're converting at a higher rate, whether the conversion is a micro conversion, like I'll reply, or I'll return your phone call, or I'll click that button and, register for your client appreciation party, or whether it's a macro conversion, like, yes, I'll sign the contract and I choose you over the 3 other people I talk to. And so no matter whether or not you're participating in marketing through video, scripted, produced, lit, edited, cost time, cost money, whether you participate in that or not, this relationships through video opportunity is available to anyone who's working in a professional capacity.
And in addition to that, Ethan, you've talked, and certainly BombBomb talks quite a bit, focuses on the humanizing or the rehumanizing of communications. That also is something that's a connector here. When you're building relationships, you're also bringing back that human factor into the digital communications that I would suggest has slowly been lost when you're doing text messaging and what I call text-based email communications.
Yep.
You start injecting video, you're building the relationships, but you're also bringing that human factor back. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Correct. Yeah, I feel like the pendulum, like everything is, everything's in motion all the time and things ebb and flow. It's just the nature of the world and everything in it. I feel like the pendulum has really swung far to plain typed out text and designed things. I'm thinking of email in this context, a lot of automation and the insertion of people's names and other information about them into these emails. But what it's missing is you. And you are your own best sales asset. And I really don't care what you're selling. I mean, if you're selling something that isn't high value or a consultative sale or something like that, there's a good chance that sales role will be automated. But there are still millions and millions of people just in North America alone who have these sales roles that require listening and discovery and diagnosis and prescription and consultation and, a medium length sales cycle. And in all of that, yes, they buy products. Yes, they buy services. Yes, they buy features and benefits. Yes, they buy the solutions that those products and services provide. But ultimately, the way the door gets opened and the way that you're sold up the chain, especially when you need to move up in an organization to get it moving, is they're buying you. They're buying the trust they have in you. They're buying your expertise. They're buying the way you make them feel. They're buying the way, especially a real estate agent or an automotive sales professional or a financial services professional. They're buying how you make them feel. Do they feel confident about the situation? Do they feel better about themselves? How do they feel about you? And just the tone and the style and all those human elements that don't come through when we over-rely, again, going back to that pendulum, this over-reliance on plain typed out text. We're seeing a move back. And if you talk to any sales professional who's an expert in his or her craft, who's been at it for 30 years, let's say, because I think that's the timeline you need to draw out to really talk about what it was like before X. And there have been a number of major movements over that time period. But back in the day, you sold face-to-face, right? You might generate a lead by referral or at a networking event or through a response to a direct mail piece that was, geographically targeted, but not much more than that. All of that lead follow-up, nurturing, and conversion always drove toward a face-to-face appointment. And so much of that is still happening today. You need to get face-to-face with the initial people and then ultimately the decision maker if there's a gap there. And what video allows you to do is get there a lot more quickly, and it allows you to be who you are and have people feel who you are and feel more psychologically connected to you even before you maybe have ever met in person.
Amazing conversation here, folks, with Ethan Beute from BombBomb. They're located in Colorado Springs, Colorado, an amazing video software organization. The contact information for Ethan has always been on the screen through the show. We've got some URL to the ilovemybombbomb.com. Ethan, I've got one question for you. If you had a opportunity to have a small talk conversation with anyone, living or past, who would it be?
That is a great question. I'm sure that's the initial response of most people. I'm going to go somewhat recently past, and I'm going to go with a gentleman named Peter Wegge. He's from my hometown of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and he's the son of the founder of Steelcase, which is a global office furniture company, really leading edge design. But there's a really strong sustainability angle there, and one of the things that he left everybody and left is definitely a really strong legacy in West Michigan. He calls this process economicology, and it's this blend of economy and ecology, that the idea of building sustainable futures and designing sustainability into our processes and our products and our services is not at the expense of jobs. These things can and should be tied together, and that this shared health of individuals and communities and the air and the water and the soil that sustain all of us and make it all possible, that there can and should be harmony there. And so, again, from my hometown, left a really great legacy that inspires me all the time. And I'd love to connect with him and have a little bit of small talk.
That's amazing. Thank you again, Ethan. Ethan Beute from BombBomb. His contact information is there. If you want to continue this conversation, he is on social media. He's on various social channels. Look him up under Ethan Beute. And most importantly, if you want to continue this conversation, you've got some questions about video, or, hey, I want to learn more or hear more about you, about the building relationships, please reach out to Ethan. That's the whole idea of these shows. Ethan, thank you again for being on Small Talk.
Sure. Thank you so much for the invite. And I welcome the next steps in the conversation with anyone watching.
Great. Thank you to Ethan Beute of BombBomb for joining me on Small Talk. You can also listen to the show as part of our podcast series. Now it's your turn. Please comment, subscribe, and share. If you've got a topic you'd like to discuss on the show, please give me a call or send me an email. We'll talk with you next time.